Welcome back to a brand new Table Talk episode. It's your boys, the Ming, with a brand new week. Just, fun fact, this is the oldest you have ever been.
Okay.
Wow.
And the youngest
That's
you will
true,
ever be
right?
again.
Yeah.
And the youngest you will be.
Life is a constellation of dying.
That's terrible.
Wow.
At the table today with us, we have none other
God.
than the irreplaceable, the undefeatable, it's the man himself, so expensive. Raj Mahal joins us at the table.
Yo, what it do, guys?
What it do?
What it do?
What it do?
What it
Oh,
do?
man.
That's just bad grammar. That's what it is.
What
I
it
mean,
do?
it's sometimes it's not about the grammar,
Yeah.
but it's about the emotion that you're trying to convey to the
Anger.
person.
That's what I'm feeling right now.
Right.
What it do?
What it do?
Okay.
All right, Raj.
Oh my god.
2020 has been. We are rolling. This is the last week of the first month of
Yeah.
the brand new year.
Oh my gosh. that
And
itself.
how has 2020 been for you, dude?
Hey.
Oh wow! Where do I even start? Right?
TikTok.
2020 has been really, really. I've been in a flux in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of first times.
Hey, no bad words on the show, bro.
Flux, bro, flux.
Hey, flux you, bro.
Flux to everybody.
Okay.
So I started my first ever full-time job
Wait.
Where?
right here
Yeah.
in Core Studios.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I'm actually working very closely with you, MingY, in case you didn't know.
Just
Wonder
double
you
checking
just
right
smelling
now.
me every day, bro.
Oh my god.
Right? So I'm working with Blank Slate. That's a
right.
digital marketing agency.
Hey.
And it's my first ever job.
Oh my goodness.
Right out of university.
Wow.
I've did like part-time gigs and freelance
Wow.
jobs.
Yeah.
I've been doing the emceeing, event
Yeah.
consulting thing for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this year, that's, I guess, the biggest change.
That is.
It's only uphill from here, bro.
It's
only uphill.
There's you can't go any lower from this point, so
Yeah.
don't worry about
No,
it.
but,
2020.
but that's essentially what we're talking about today. We're talking about
Man.
first jobs, right? So
Aish.
Raj, you are of a tender age of about 20...
5,000.
Still not even mid-20s yet.
I'm 23, yes.
He's
23.
24 this year?
24 this year.
Ming Han's
Man.
kicking it at the
35?
30,000.
30,000.
30,000.
He's,
About that.
he's not the youngest one in the room.
I live millennials.
And I'm smelling what 30s will potentially smell like.
How does it smell like?
I don't know yet. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Think about old leather and dust.
That's crazy.
Wow.
We are talking. No, so we're talking about first jobs today. But before we
Hey.
jump into first jobs, right? Let's wind it back. Let's talk about we've done this before, but I don't think we did it with you in primary school. You had a piece of paper in standard 1
Oh my
where the
god.
teacher asked you, cheetah,
Cheetah.
dream
yeah.
jobs, occupation.
You gotta
Yeah.
list down 3 or 5.
You gotta list down 3. What were your 3 from 3 to 1?
What's with this smile?
That's such a great question.
Okay.
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 I remember very vividly.
Okay.
Number 1 was soldier.
Okay.
Okay.
Like a tender young boy, you would say that, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tantra. I wrote that. Tantra.
I
You know,
knew-
people
right.
say hello police, I say hello tantra.
Okay.
Because it's getting
That's
serious. in here.
crazy.
That's
Okay.
crazy,
That's
right?
crazy.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm pretty sure I said I wanted to be a WWE wrestler.
Okay.
You did not.
I think I did. I'm pretty sure
At
I
that
did.
age,
Yeah.
my parents don't let us watch the show.
Yeah.
What are you
Oh.
doing watching the show?
Well, technically, my parents were asleep when I was watching that
I
show.
see. Got it.
You know, 11 o'clock on TV3.
yeah.
You know,
Right,
TV3,
auntie-
man, come on.
lah. That, you know what's up, lah.
Auntie, uncle.
I'm surprised you guys know TV3. I thought it was like a generational thing. You know,
Right.
I know more TV3 than you, dude.
One of my first jingles I
we'll
learned.
get back to that later.
Yeah.
One of my first jingles I learned how to say as a baby was TV3.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding you.
Okay, that's funny. I don't know that.
That's-
I don't remember that jingle.
That's where the generation comes
Yeah,
from.
dude. All right, and number 1.
What?
Number 1 was Tantra. Number 2
okay.
was
The
WWE
wrestler.
wrestler.
WWE.
Number 3.
Oh, I can't quite remember number 3.
Okay.
But if I had to put myself back in the shoes of Raj back then,
Right.
I would have said something along the lines
Dancer
of
or
like
something.
Nurse.
dancer, yeah, like
Dancer.
an entertainer or something like that, lah.
Really?
Right, right.
Even at the tender age of like 7.
I like making people laugh on the surface, but I know deep down I just want to be accepted by everyone.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Wow.
What is this existential crisis?
It's
my
not a
God.
crisis,
Young
it's
age.
just intense
Intense.
self-analysis.
Icebreaker
Right,
questions,
right,
but you're
right.
diving in deep. I love it.
Right, right.
I
We
love
want the
it.
truth here.
At a young
on the
age, all I
show.
care about is the Uncle Pedapop coming this afternoon or not. That's
You
it.
don't say uncle and Pedapop at the same time than your kid, bro.
That's have I got stories
Yeah.
for you?
I'm just kidding. Okay, Ming, what were your 3?
I mean, I've not yet found a person who, many people who have a list similar to mine. And the third spot up and running, I want to be a fireman. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure I want to be a fireman.
So what's that in
Ali Kereta Bomba.
Ali
Kereta Ali
Bomba.
Ali
Bomba,
Bomba.
it's just Bomba.
I wanted the fire truck more than actually anything else.
Okay.
I just wanted that. Second one, I cannot remember. I don't think I had much ambition as a kid. Maybe I only had 2 because I know the first one was Ultraman.
Yes. Ming wanted to be Ultraman.
That was
He wrote it down.
for real. I wrote it down.
Ultraman Gaia.
Ultraman. I just generally any
No,
one of
Gaia's
them.
really new. He was like just
Yeah,
Ultraman.
Ultraman didn't really have that many family members when I was watching, you know. But as a kid, that was where I was in reference to my reality as a person.
Oh, that's great.
And
7
there
years
was
old, though.
there was no acceptance. I didn't care. The guy next to me put a counter. I'm like, what's this boring job?
And then the last one?
I had none. I just had 2, Ultraman or Fireman. Like, give it a ticket. I want to be one of these 2. If I could be a Fireman, Ultraman, even better.
I'm pretty sure there's a season of Ultraman where the main protagonist is a fireman, right?
It has to happen.
None.
Like,
It
how,
has to
how much of
happen.
ideas
Nope.
can you have?
There's none.
First got Stalker.
Anyone who is
Next one TikTok Ultraman.
No, guys, sad to say, a lot of Ultramen work in a special department.
They do.
And then they get this special morpher and they just jump out of the aeroplanes and become Ultraman. Most of the time.
It doesn't sound like a morpher, it sounds like morphine or something.
I have a small suspicion about this, but let's get to that in another episode. It's morphin. you know.
How about you, Ming? What's your ambitions?
My top 3 in standard 1 was, I think the everyone had to write down, and I think this is a crazy thing about Asian culture, right? We don't know what these jobs entail, but for some reason we are wired to write down doctor, lawyer, and engineer.
That's right.
Or scientist, right? And
right.
at 7 years old, do we realistically, the only thing I really knew what was happening is a doctor, because you've had experiences with doctor, but lawyer, engineer, and scientist, like, come on, 7 years old, what you know, right?
Like, it's so surprising you said that, because that is the holy triumvirate
Yes.
of Indian families.
Sorry, what? We just call it the Trinity, bro.
Oh, Trinity. Okay,
Triumvirate.
yeah. I don't know what I just said.
Triumvirate. Well, it's a thing now.
Random alphabets that
A
make
random,
sense.
the holy triumvirate.
I thought this only applied to Indian families. It's quite surprising that you mentioned it.
No, it's
No.
I think it's just all around an Asian.
It just shifts in rank according to your race.
Yes.
Like for Chinese,
have to be
top
doctor.
lah. It's funny lah. No, it's not doctor. It's engineer.
Engineer.
For Chinese.
Top, yeah,
Yeah,
really,
but 7 years old,
really.
you think they know what an engineer does? I don't know, bro.
I thought it's Thomas the Train Engine.
all I
I'm
know
like,
was my dad is an engineer.
maybe.
Yeah.
So I should write that down as well. That's like, that's honestly the truth, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at your 7-year-old self, and the top 3 occupations that you were gonna try to get into, and then you fast forward it to, I would say the next step of life, right?
Man.
would be after high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Put yourself back in that shoes, right? For everyone who's listening as well, put yourself back at after SPM. You celebrated, you've gone crazy, and college is just about to kick in because you have to decide: are you doing A levels? Are you doing foundation? Like, what are you doing, right? At that point, what was you would probably have a realistic.
You know how hard it is to become
Job?
an engineer then.
Yeah, correct.
Doctor, don't play this kind
You
of game
have a
anymore.
realistic job, but also the dream job. Do you remember what yours was?
Ultraman.
I remember very clearly out of college.
Yeah.
Because I
College
think,
or high school?
we are talking about high school.
High school.
Okay, so high school, college, it was
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the same phase for me.
Okay.
I have always been a very unrealistic person.
Okay.
I remember telling myself very clearly, immature boy,
Right.
I just wanted to be filthy rich.
Filthy rich.
That is what I told myself.
Filthy.
Filthy rich.
Thank you, Raj, for being honest.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, come on, let's not sugarcoat it. I
Okay.
think a lot of people at home want to be filthy rich as well. if
Everyone
I'm being
would
honest.
love to be rich.
And I didn't really care how I got there.
Oh,
I
damn.
just knew that I wanted to be filthy rich no matter what.
Oh, damn.
And
So like black market things.
no,
What was your
not-
next step
no,
after that?
Not really.
What was your next step?
I got
I
stuck
didn't
at
bathe.
the.
Oh.
I got the filthy part right. Like,
Oh, damn. Okay.
and that was just one thing that was so stuck in my head because I see on Instagram, I see on
Right,
Facebook,
right.
19-year-old kid sets up multi-million cow dung industry, right?
That is
So-
literally filthy and rich.
rich, right?
Yes,
So I used to see a lot of stuff like that, and I don't know why I just wanted to be that as well.
Right.
Well, now coming to this age of 23, I know that was just such a counterproductive
Yes,
part of my life because when it comes to careers and jobs,
Right.
just wanting to be rich is not going to get you anywhere.
no.
I love that, yeah.
No.
It could be a driving force, yes, but
Yeah.
trust me, based on my personal experience, it's more hurtful and damaging to yourself
Yeah.
than actually pushing you towards the goal that you want to go.
It's a
achieve.
insanely unrealistic benchmark for yourself because there's no real guidance to how you're going to get there. it's just like this, like, oh, I want to be on top of Mount Everest, but you don't put the training in. You know, you don't get a guide. You don't even buy your sweater.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to do that. At how old? 18.
18.
17.
18 and a half,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. What do we know about money?
So then what shifted?
Well, I don't know how honest we can get on the show.
Let's go.
But like, let's just talk about it, right?
Let's just talk about it.
So I was stuck in this existential crisis loop,
The holy trinidad of the existential.
right? Where I just told myself, Raj, no matter what, by the time you graduate college, you're
Right.
going to be rich. And
Oh,
I was
dang.
just stuck in that loop, not knowing what to do with my life, but I knew that was what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
So it was just such a very materialistic driven goal.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So I was stuck in that loop over and over again, and then, being very angry at myself, like, Raj, you want to try doing this? Started beating up myself. Exactly.
Physically.
Right.
Not physically, just mentally. The physically came a few months after that, huh?
That was a very quick
right?
Right.
So eventually I was stuck in this loop.
Yeah.
And then one day, I don't know what happened, I just snapped out of it and I sat down and I did an audit on myself.
Right.
Like, look, Raj, you got all these freaking great plans in your head.
Right.
But what have you done to
Right.
achieve these plans?
Oh,
And the
dang.
answer was nothing.
Nothing. Other than dream about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then I sat down. I talked to a few people, people who I hold very close to me, both
Man.
physically and I guess figuratively.
Yes.
And I sat down and I talked to them about what I was going through, and they said, "Look, Raj, if you want to start your career,
Yep.
Right.
it has to be motivated by something much more than money,
Oh
Yes.
right? You
Right.
got to find that sense of purpose. Some people say passion, but I
Right.
think passion only lasts so long. I think like more often than not, it's a very fake title you put on something that you want to do.
Yes.
But
Okay, it's
find the
vague.
purpose.
It's a very
Yeah.
artsy-fartsy, vague thing.
It's like using the word hustle. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
I want to hustle, but
I'm
what does
gonna
hustle
hustle.
exactly
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So
Sounds like a
find
disease sometimes.
exactly. It is a disease.
It is a
It is a disease. So find your purpose.
Yeah, let's use that to dive right into the topic of the day, right? First jobs and stuff like that. For Raj, obviously, he just shared that money was the goal. It was I guess, it's the first thought that you have, right? When you want to look at potential occupations and jobs. What is going to pay me? What's going to make me, at the end of the day, I can go home and I'm going to live in my castle, right? But then all these sort of like expectations that you put on yourself, I feel ultimately, if you don't have a sense of satisfaction with what you're doing, no amount of money is going to make you happy. And so I think maybe for you, people like you and those who can relate to this as well, I think even for me, like money is great, but for me, it's not the main motivation. I feel like when it comes to picking your first job or applying for your first job or even studying, right, you need to figure out the balance between something that you're genuinely like either you feel purposeful about, passionate about, or if it's fully about I'm gonna earn some bling.
Yeah.
And if money is your purpose in life, then hey, you do you, man. Right? Everyone sort of perceives these things differently. But for us, right, I think the three of us at this table, fortunately or unfortunately, money isn't our. It's not the
main
end goal.
driving
Yeah,
force.
it's not the main driving force.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
let's talk about present day. Well, I think we should start with MingH because MingH's the oldest one here.
Oh, boy.
You started off technically, like we always say this at different talks that we attend and when we're talking to people about the whole YouTubing career and stuff like that. Technically, when you graduated, you were supposed to be a psychologist.
Supposed is a underlined bolded statement.
Because mom and dad and yourself, you invested 3 years of doing a psychology degree,
Three and a half. Almost 4 actually.
which
Almost
is
4.
supposed to bring you onward to do a master's,
Yes.
and then start practicing.
Yes.
But because of I don't know, we want to call it maybe passion at that time of creating
Right.
content. I hate that word so much now.
Right.
Of making videos.
Right.
It developed into something you didn't expect.
Right.
And then your first job was to
Right.
start a company.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe to bust a few expectations or what people assume about that was I was never chasing passion to begin with. All right. I think the best part about the situation I was in was number one, I had a freaking degree. It means I kind of proved to my mom and dad, like, I stayed accountable and I had a discipline to see something through, which essentially is what a degree is, guys. If you really think about it, right, your degree is almost close to useless other than being a ticket, an entry requirement into an interview. That's actually most of the time what a degree is.
I agree.
Unless of course,
I hate my degree.
unless of course you are studying something in a professional industry, i.e., being a doctor, an architect, that one you don't go and mess around with your degrees.
Because other people's lives are at stake.
Yeah. If you're going to do other people's lives. So I think the big misconception about whenever we have the chance to talk to people about following your dreams and passions, newsflash, when I started this, it was not passion, it was not a dream. It was more of like, wow, this is happening at this point in time. Should I try this out? Will I lose out anything if I don't? Will I lose anything if I do? And it was a very, actually, maybe it's my personality. I took it very lightly. Like a lot of my friends, like one of our friends who has been on the show, Ivan, who has his potato chip business. I'm absolutely misrepresenting it right now. It's a salted egg chip.
Salted egg yolk chips.
Gourmet snack
Malaysian
business.
Snacks, yes.
See, this guy, he already had an absolutely stable job. Beautiful, saving everything bank job, right? And he had to take the leap to try this thing out, which was already generating income for him. But even at that point, some people find it very hard to make the choice because letting go of safety is a very big thing. The benefit I feel that I had that only one big benefit I had was I had never had a real job. I was fresh out of college. I had nothing to lose, everything to gain. But I also had to say my personality was the type that let's just try. There's nothing wrong to try. So the minute I graduated, the due diligence I had done at that point was we were already shooting some videos for fun. I had found a couple of people that I had a great time making videos with, and it seemed like people were starting to hire us to shoot some videos. Now, was it a high volume? No, we only got one job every 3 to 4 months, 2 jobs, right? So it wasn't anything grand, but it seemed to be working. So I just finished my degree and I had 2 choices. The red pill was go and do your master's. The blue pill was try this. And it was a very simple choice because I had nothing to lose on both accounts. On one hand, I could try this and go study again if I didn't feel like it was going to work. On another hand, if I tried this and it took off, I can always come into psychology whenever I want.
Right.
It's a degree.
So it's kind
a done deal.
of interesting that you mentioned that you were already doing it since university, right?
Right.
And I think that really worked to you guys' advantage,
right?
Because while you guys still had this safety net of sorts,
correct,
you were experimenting and playing around with different business
People
ideas.
assume when you start the minute you finish your degree. No, it never happens that way. You have to have at least of all the photographer friends I have, or videographers, they were already doing it as some kind of hobby. I don't... Okay, let's use the word hobby instead of passion.
You don't just wake up one morning and be like, I'm a film director. I'm like, hey, good job, bro.
I know a few people.
They put it on their Instagram bio.
Film director.
Soon to be film producer. That's a thing.
Then soon to be, but now shut up. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that the MingH story and how he kind of...
Yeah, there was no passion. It was just let's try lah.
Let's try. So he like I think we talked about it with Ivan as well. There was a realistic sort of expectation of yourself, and we also said this on the podcast before. There needs to be some sort of timeline of the trial period, right? You can't do 47 years of trying, and then when you're 60 years old, you're I guess it's not working out.
Let's go.
Right? You've been eating pigeon shit off the floor. You can't do that. You really can't do that.
Off the bread.
Off the bread, right? Raj, so you and MingH technically never had a first job.
I did internships. I did plenty of internships, but this is my first full-time job, which is I was thinking about it on the drive on the way to work today. I've had quite a few people ask me
to join them.
No, not join them.
Okay.
But I was thinking about how we can deliver value back to our listeners, right?
Right.
One big question that I get often is how do I find what I want to do? Okay. And this comes over and over again because people have talked to me, and when I told them my story in deciding that I wanted to be in the digital marketing space, they're like, that's so great that you know what you want to do at this age. But a lot of people in my generation find it so difficult to pinpoint what is it that they want to do. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, what kind of advice can we share?
I feel like there is a sort of perception when it comes to being a young person, right? In your sort of young 20s, everyone tells you to make mistakes. Everyone tells you to try everything you want to try so that you find the answer. And I agree with that to a certain degree. I mean, that's how Ming, Brian and I started, right? We tried making videos.
Right.
You tried doing MCing and all that. But you eventually found what you wanted to settle on, and you could see yourself do every day. There is a lot of truth in that, and I think everyone should do that, especially if you are in university, college. Start doing things that if you feel you might want to pursue in 3 years' time, do it today. Because the worst that could happen is you decide you don't like it. The best thing that could happen is you have 3 years worth of experience doing it, right?
Yep.
But to that, I want to push it even further and say I don't think the trying ever stops. I don't think you are unable or not allowed to try or experience new things when you're 30 years old. Because a lot of people maybe have a daytime job, right, 9 to 5 or something, and then they work till like they're 28, 29, and then they realize, they come to terms with the fact that I cannot do this for the rest of my life. I hate this, I need to get out. And then some of them start, doing maybe stand-up comedy or, a lot of these stories actually come from a place of, I cannot do this anymore. So I feel like it's not fair to Asian culture as well, because we're always talking about the rat race. We're always talking about excellence, whether it's in terms of like monetary aspects or some sort of accomplishments, right? I don't think it's fair for us to box ourselves into a age range where you're like, by 30 you got to figure your shit out.
Yep.
Because dude, we're in our 20s, right? But people say 20s where you live your best life and then you settle down 30s.
Yo, man, life just beginning.
It's a freaking learning process all the way. And I realized only in my mid-20s that I've done nothing. Right?
Actually, when people, I mean, like Raj, you meet a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And you do a lot of events. I mean, the nature of your job is meeting basically everyone and anyone. And when you do get questions like this, like, yo, Raj, you're an MC, you're in a great place, you look like you're having fun on stage. What do you think that expectation is when they ask, like, how do you find what you want to do? How did you find how to do MCing?
Okay, well, MCing, to be honest, was something I stumbled into.
There you go.
Right? It happened by accident because I was hosting an event in university.
Right.
And then from that event itself, people saw me on stage and they were like, okay, we want to get this guy for this event. And it just propagated from there on.
So from there on, how many years has it been?
Oh, it's been like 4 years.
There you go.
4 years.
So when people meet you, right, I think the common misconception is they see you already at where you are and they take that as the starting point.
Yep.
Like that's the highlight.
Well, it's kind of interesting you brought that up because I've been doing MCing for 4.5 years.
There you go.
But there is a reason why I decided to join Call Studios as well.
Right.
Because I've been doing MCing for so long and I love it. I love it so much and I want to do it for as long as I can.
Yes.
But number one, I have so much of free time on the weekdays.
Yeah.
And number two, digital marketing was something that I had tried a bit back in my internships. And there was this calling to come and do digital marketing. Why? Because in one of the internships that I did, I used to run influencer marketing campaigns for some brands and some companies.
Right.
And there was one campaign I did for a rather small business. It's an SME. And it was run by this couple. And after the campaign was over, we saw that their business grew a bit. And the joy and the satisfaction that I saw in this company. Because we delivered value to them. Through something as simple as an influencer marketing program.
This week's Table Talk podcast is brought to you by Digi. And if you guys are looking for a brand new smartphone, oh my goodness, do I have a deal for you. Embrace the freedom to own the latest and greatest smartphones with 2 times the internet, up to 200 gigs with free roaming and international direct dial with the lowest all-in plan and phone payment. Oh my goodness. I'm talking about 0 ringgit upfront with 0% interest. You can be an owner of that spiffy new phone. Check out Digi's Phone Freedom 365 and sort yourself out. Now back to the podcast.
So I mean that expectation itself is a bit different because when they meet you in MCing, they don't see the 4 years that you've done, but they meet you at that point where like you kind of started to figure it out, and then they use that as like the measurement, like
right. So you see, whenever people talk to me about this, I tell them like, look, it's 4.5 years of experimenting, embarrassing yourself on stage, and trying to grow that aspect of me or that side of me. But like right now, joining Core Studios, it's a different phase of my life that I want to enter into.
Right.
Of course, I'm still doing the MCing and event consulting and all that, but I'm like, okay,
why digital marketing?
Why digital marketing?
Yeah.
Oh well, for many reasons. I've always had an interest in digital marketing for quite some time. But also, I think it's interesting you brought this up because I decided to work in core studios
Right. Thanks for the plug.
because of the company itself.
Hey.
Okay? So
Hey.
I never envisioned myself working a full-time job.
Wow.
Because doing emceeing and doing event consulting was something I really enjoyed. It was paying me decent money for a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's build this. But I think now turning 24 years old, I'm like, okay, I want to increase my skill set. I want to try something different. And no company doing digital marketing has really, to put it very metaphorically, called out to my soul.
Oh,
I like that.
Okay.
That's crazy. This guy's a man of purpose, man. I'm gonna say
Vivian
that.
is just laughing at the side, but yeah.
And what are some of the things I look for? And this is something for y'all to think about at home as well,
Come on,
right?
I love these action steps.
Cikgu Raj.
If you want to apply for a job, some of the things that you should consider
Right.
is look at your bosses or
Right.
look at the people that are managing you. Because if you enter a company and you know that your learning curve is your learning curve is going to be like this.
But I mean, for you all watching the video, doesn't mean that learning curve is curbed.
Shake my hand. That's a good one.
Sorry,
That's a good one.
Okay, sorry.
No words. No words.
Let's go.
So if your learning curve is going to be like this,
Like a flat line.
like a flat line, you know, it's like an electrocardiogram that has
You
terminated.
dead. He's dead.
Right?
Yeah.
Thanks for putting it so.
Checked out from life.
Deceased.
EFK, never coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened?
If it's going to be that,
Yeah.
then, you know, why are you in the company in the first place?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one thing for you to look for, you know. Of course, like I said before, the money is important. The title, well, some people think the title is important.
I mean, some people chase that lah.
some
Money
people-
and titles.
You know,
Yeah.
it's quite interesting. There was an experiment done in the States where they gave two people the option between having a fancier title, less pay and more work, or a less fancier title, more pay and less work. The majority chose to go for the fancier title.
Oh.
Just because, you know, I want to be Mr. Swag, Chief,
Yeah.
twerking officer or something. You
Just
know,
want a
like
side note there. I think it's insecurity in ourselves. That's why we chase titles. But back to you, Raj. So what else? Because I feel like it's a good spotlight on Raj here today because Raj represents a big majority of people who are entering the workforce, looking for the first job. Ming and I, quite a different story because Ming Han shared about how, you know, technically
I have no first job.
Yeah, he had no. This is his
Yeah.
first job, and technically for me as well. I started working on this as well while I was still in uni. So technically, full-time job. This is my first full-time job,
Yeah.
and running it is. I don't wish it on another day. But Raj, back to you and the story of what you're looking for, or what people. Some of your personal notes when it comes to.
so number one, boss/manager.
Yeah. Then the second is the learning opportunities.
Learning opportunities,
Yes.
correct. And number three, your interests. Okay. What do I mean by this?
Right.
So coming back to the question of, okay, Raj, how did you discover what it is that you wanted to do?
Yeah.
From the age of 18
Right.
to 23,
Very specific.
I was just going out and trying everything
Right.
that I was remotely interested in.
Right.
I can testify to this. Raj picked up on his own graphic design. He picked up photography. He did web designing as well.
He also
he also
knows-
did music production.
Also,
Yes.
he has a very unique skill set of surviving a zombie apocalypse.
He has.
Yeah.
He has
This
a
is an
certificate.
actual thing.
I have a digital certificate.
This
to
is
prove that.
insane. But
Okay,
that is a
but-
thing. Okay.
But so that was you just doing everything, chasing everything you was interested in.
Everything that I was even remotely interested in
Yeah.
because I knew the time limit I set for myself.
Yeah.
And do not follow this if this does not apply to your life.
Yeah.
Because I call this lifestyle design, right? If you want to get into the nitty gritty of it.
The nippy.
Nitty gritty.
Okay. Nippities.
Okay, good.
So,
Nippy G's.
so yeah, the way I designed my life was all the time I had up until university was my safety net.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out, I'm going to do whatever I wanted to do.
Sweet.
So that by the time I graduate, I know exactly it is what I want to devote my time and attention to.
Yeah, yeah.
And just work on it and have a good time
Right, love
and
it.
build the life that I want.
Yeah.
Of course, the downside to that is that I didn't perform very well in university. I wasn't a 4.0 CGPA student.
Right.
I was like, I'll be super honest, I was like a 2.9.
Vivian, what were you? Oh, okay.
3.0.
Right?
Ming
And-
was close to 4. I think.
3.1, 3.2.
That's crazy.
3.4 in psychology is insane. You
I
are
don't-
that
I don't-
person.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
My final grade, maybe close to 4.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
That's spectacular.
Final year. Yeah.
Spectacular.
So you didn't do very well in uni.
I didn't
But to offset that, the amount of experience you had.
Right.
was money cannot buy.
Money cannot buy
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was basically how I found my interest, and that's why I'm sitting down here today.
But that's a great note, guys. I mean, on a point of like first jobs, right? I think by the time you ask yourself this question, it's either already too late to be realizing that. And by what I mean by too late is the current habits or the reoccurring characteristics of people, quote unquote, like us, who have seemingly found their passions to the rest of the world. There's a very common trait between all of these peers. Like, I have friends who run their own businesses, who do their own stuff. The trait is they started failing early. That is really the trait. Like, even for me, I've never had a first job, but I've done a lot of random part-time jobs. I've literally worked in the stockroom of British India.
Wow.
I've 13 hours a day not seeing the sunlight. That was one of my first jobs. One of my other jobs was also like, last time in Wanatama, there was a McDonald's kiosk near the cinema. And for some reason, there's only one person handling it all the time. That's one person is me. So like, there are really random jobs. I've also done things like helping my parents' friend out of a bakery and stuff like that. But I think there was no real goal in mind that I want to find what I love. I didn't have the goal like, if I go to British India, I'm going to find what I love here.
Wow.
I didn't go to I didn't go and do like, hello, can I take your order? You want the ice cream M&M's McFlurry?
So it's like, started from the bottom, now we're here.
I had no bottom. Actually, that's the thing.
You have no bottom.
There was no bottom.
That's
I still don't have a
problem,
bottom.
So, okay, like another thing I think we should talk about, since you guys are running a company now,
Oh boy.
when y'all want to hire someone,
Right.
what are the characteristics that y'all look for? Maybe it can
Actually,
give a bit of guidance to people
Oh
listening.
boy, we're gonna
Let's
give
go.
a lot.
Rock
Actually,
a note.
before we started that, I wanted to talk about that note that Raj said. Like, if you guys are looking for that first job, right? A very important thing that I've learned, especially in when you do like anything close to career development and stuff, along the lines of what Raj said about your bosses and your management, if you guys are walking into an office, look around.
Yes.
That is one of the first signs you know whether you stepped into the right place. Like, not the decor. I'm talking about, look at the people working inside the team.
Yeah.
That's the first sign. Notice while you're waiting for your turn to go and interview, look and watch. That's just a note.
I think we're at a good point in the podcast to flip that sort of conversation from what you want from a company to now what a company wants from you, right?
Oh boy.
I mean, if we think about it, January is a month of new beginnings, self-improvement. That's why we're always talking about, I think the past few podcasts has been talking about getting out of your comfort zone, improving yourself. And now today, the very, very sort of a real advice.
Let's give you some hacks to get a first job.
To the career part of your life, right? So as owners of a business, Ming and I, we have so Ming does different things, Brian does different things, and I do different things. All three partners, we oversee different areas of the company, but we all share certain qualities in common. That's why we're also doing this. And at Core Studios, Blank Slate, TMT, and Takeaway, the one central pillar to everything that we do is people. Like, people is our main motivation, both internal and external. Working with people is something that we treasure. And the relationships form is something that we really hold dear to our hearts. So when it comes to hiring people, of course, Ming-Han has a completely different set of expectations, and I have a completely set of...
Contrary to popular belief,
Let's
I'm
hear
not
that.
allowed to hire people.
Ming-Han's not allowed to hire people.
Oh, what's that?
Because I see potential.
Ming-Han sees potential.
I'm a very dangerous hirer.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
dangerous.
Ming-Han sees potential like when it's 5 years away.
Wow.
I just can't tell when it's going to happen.
And,
Wow.
and Brian and I, we need it now.
Right.
So
I'm axed from the interviews.
But Ming-Han has not been able to interview any interns or applicants for at least 3 years already.
Goodness, wow.
It's a good and bad thing, I guess.
Nobody got to know. That's why Melody has successfully obtained all the traits and guidelines of all three of us, and that's why you
But
get a
I
team
think
today.
for me, definitely, I'm like Ming-Han. I see potential. There are things that I look out specifically for in people, and most often, I'll be honest with you guys listening at home as well. It's not your skill set. I don't give a flying toot about your skill set, right? Because
I do lah, but
I mean, it's great if you come in with a skill set already, because then it justifies the hire, right? If I need an editor and you come in and tell me you know how to drive a car, if it doesn't match the skill set, there's a high chance I'm not going to hire you, right? But if you come in with a certain level of a skill set already of what I'm looking for, then that's step one in your favor. However, skill set is really not what I'm looking for. When I talk to people, when I recruit or hire people, I'm looking at how they deal with my questions, right? From everything from the way they treat people around them to how they work under pressure to how they work with being accountable to management and peers. To me, that is the telltale sign of how a person is. It's even easier when I ask questions like, do you play Dota? And if the answer is yes, right, I usually ask, what position do you play? Right? Because I understand a lot more, whether you play support, whether you go alone. If I see you play a game, if I see you drive a car, if I see you play board games, it's very easy for me to read you. So this past year, and I've always been a people person. I hate people because I don't.
But you're a people person.
I'm a people person,
But I
but it
hate
doesn't mean
people.
I like them, right? No, I hate
Right.
meaningless socializing. So maybe because I'm getting
Majority
older,
of our industry.
I'm becoming very uncle already.
Okay.
But I have made it a very
Technically, you are an uncle.
yeah, I'm an uncle. I am an uncle. But my forte is really reading people. And it becomes very fun. We talked about this in the previous episode, Amen, that my guilty pleasure is picking up people's idiosyncrasies in speech and behavioral patterns.
Idiosyncrasies.
So that means, right,
try.
anybody I'm interviewing, right, you are, I'm watching every part of you, right?
It's like you're trailing every single thought they have in their brain.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I will say certain things to elicit a certain response, just so I know how your brain works, right?
Yeah.
And as someone who recruits and employs people based on these interactions, it is so important to be yourself. Like, I cannot stress how important it is to not tell me about how many times you've been achieving this over your life, whether you hit prefect. I don't give a flying fart about your achievements, right?
Okay.
I'm more interested in how you're willing to lay that down to be a team player.
I think on this note, it's a great thing to say, like, for a first job, for an interview, know who's interviewing you, know the team that you're applying to, know the company, because most of the time, I think it should be a thing, or maybe not. It's never about the questions that they're asking you. It's never about it. It's actually, why are they asking you this?
Yeah.
It's not about a correct or wrong answer. It's
Yeah.
how you're going to answer it. You think anyone? For example, guys, what a loaded question is. Loaded question is a question already preset with making you answer a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is your strength? That's a freaking guy. It's everyone.
There's
is gonna
no right
say it,
answer.
right? There's no right
Yeah.
answer. All right. It's not about, are you humble? It could be for some people.
Yeah.
It's not about, like, we know your strengths. You've already put a resume down, and then when you ask what is your weaknesses, we know we've already seen it. But I think, like anything, the real hack you want to get into your first job is, how are you as a person going to handle that?
Yeah.
That's basically an interview. That's basically what people are looking for,
Yeah.
because nobody hires anyone to create more problems.
Correct. So
That is it.
If I had to boil it down to two things for me, it's initiative and teachability.
Don't be a bitch. All right.
Yeah.
Teachability.
Because like that's crazy. Let me break that down. Right. Let's start with teachability. You may come in with a certain skill set that I'm looking for, right? But if you show me that you are unflexible to
you
try,
don't want to
new
let
things,
go of that.
correct, or there may be better ways. And if you do want to do that, right, then what for I work with you,
How?
right? It doesn't give me joy. It doesn't give you joy.
Oh,
Just get up, fool. Right.
was-
That's essentially what we're going to be doing every day. We're just going to be struggling with each other, and I don't want that. So it's very telling when I meet a person for the first time, and through that conversation, there's already some sort of uncomfortableness with the
Yeah.
interactions. Then I'm just like, well, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm very picky with people, right? Second one, initiative. It's so freaking important to be initiative. Like, if you're just gonna sit there and wait for work to come to you, in today's day and age, I'm sorry, man, then you're just a robot, right? And the fact that if you can take ownership of what you're doing, you do your research, come to me and tell me, this is what I found out about something that we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Dude, to me, that shows me that you have interest in what we're doing, that you are resourceful enough. And everyone just want to say, Raj has been doing that since day one, all right? Just quick plug-in. But if you have none of this, right, dude, it's really difficult to justify a hire. And I think with the amount of startups there are today, with the amount of sort of SMEs there are today, this is really what you want to have.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to be their own boss as well.
Yeah.
But if you have none of these qualities, dude, just shut down your business right now.
Just want to say about everyone wants to play. Do you all see that Tumblr or Twitter quote or something like
Which
that.
one?
Well, if you don't build your own castle, you're going to help someone else build theirs. Can I just say, if everyone on this planet owns their own castle, you know how they're freaking crazy they'll look?
Just stupid, man.
Like, you gotta be real. Some people, that's ridiculous. You know, like whoever came out with this quote
Is it your
is an idiot.
Is it your
Are you freaking crazy? Like, okay, you want to.
Is it your stupid,
I
man?
appreciate having a castle to build.
Yeah.
But on other fronts, I am more than willing helping someone else build a castle that I have no.
I want to spit
clue
in your
about.
eye, right? I just want to spit in
For
your eye.
real.
Whoever's thinking this, open your eye.
Okay,
baby.
sorry. Where I was going with this is okay. Just coming back to the
No,
big,
okay, wait. I want to.
Are we going into that?
No. The castle building. I need to quickly talk about this. One of the biggest things that I look for when I work with a team or people or a company, right? Even as a business owner, I need to see how much that person is a team player. As a leader, right? If you don't know how to be a team player, you're a shit leader.
Yeah,
I'm
we
gonna say it
all
right now.
freaking build the same castle.
Yeah. So no. So I'm talking about that in the context of if you are gonna follow or if you're gonna lead a team or if you're gonna follow somebody, right? This is such an importance on like what Raj said, right? Look at the bosses, the people managing you, right? People in position of power. And if you do not believe in them, there's a high chance that they're doing something wrong, right?
Exactly.
So for all the potential leaders right now and even in the future, right? You need to learn to be a good follower before you're a good leader. I'm a team player. Like for me, I function at my highest capacity when I work with a team. But that being said, right, I'm very particular with the teams I choose. So that means as a leader, I'll choose and craft my team specifically. But as a follower, right, I'm very particular and detailed about the teams that I'm going to be invested in. If I don't agree with the vision, if I don't agree with the leader, if I don't agree with the way they're doing things, why would I subject myself to being a part of that? I'm just a lousy follower then. I'm not giving 100%. I'm not benefiting you or me, right? So I think that's something to think about when it comes to the question about building sandcastles and stuff like that.
Okay.
Nobody needs to always own something. Dude, I don't own half the stuff I have right now. It's all my mom's and my dad's, right? But it's fine. Same team, same vision.
right.
Get nasty.
To wrap this up, this crazy. All right, let's take a small breather. To wrap this up, I think to really take the edge off, to take the burden of finding a job or something, I like to do this thing. It's called reprogramming your brain, right? Rectifying what you think,
Rectum.
and shit me, readjusting your approach. I think the common problem today is everyone expects to find that first. And if you don't and it doesn't fit in 3 months, you're out.
Exactly.
It doesn't fit, you don't like it, you're out. Very quickly, finding a job is not the goal. No, it's finding a first job. The act or the habit or behavior of finding a job is the method to understanding your passion or purpose. So finding the perfect first job is already a wrong
Impossible
expectation.
task, yeah.
You need to take it as finding a job is actually a skill set to approach the goal of purpose and passion. Because it's almost like you need to understand the blueprint of being a human being, right? Nobody nails a skill on the first try. You start walking, you can't. You start trying to figure out how to use chopsticks, you can't do it in the first try. Being human is basically a progressive step building thing of like you gotta continuously practice something to get to something.
Yeah.
So if you are saying, and if in that sense we say like finding a job is a skill, you don't ace it on the first try.
Yeah.
But what is more important of like finding a job, if you want to like relate it back to like even relationships, learn what you did wrong, learn what you did not do wrong. But most importantly, like if there's anything I can take from our parents' generation, stick to it. Commit. Dedicate yourself to learn why you made
like
that
it.
choice, right? And don't and guys, do not relate finding your passion to finding your job. That is a very
Don't be disillusioned with that, man.
it's a very big I would say millennial
Dilemma.
It's
Like a struggle.
it's
a lie they
thing.
tell themselves.
It's actually a very grand lie. It's
TikTok.
like if you don't feel it, don't work it. You know, like you're crazy. You know who says that? Those Ang Mo begging for money, traveling the world.
Correct.
Okay, do you want to live like that? No, you don't.
Spit in their eye.
Okay?
Don't spit in their eye. I'm so sorry.
No, don't. Just don't give them money. Sorry.
Hey.
Back to it, guys. Don't remember. Finding a job is a skill.
Yeah.
Okay. Finding the right job is great, but it's not, and it should never be like expected right from the
Yeah.
get-go. Go and make mistakes. Go and do weird things, especially if you're still studying. Go work in McDonald's, go in KFC, go and become a Grab driver. If there's anything that I can at least benefit you to in your career or your pursuit of career while you're still studying, go and work in the service industry.
Yes.
And what I mean service industry is any industry that requires you to service a customer.
Yes.
When
Yes.
you do that, your whole life will change and it will
Yes.
no longer about being acing your first job.
Correct.
All right.
Man,
why
guys-
not? Go and find it yourself.
That is such, oh my goodness. So, some
Alright.
really good points today. I hope you guys took away something from this takeaway table episode of the Table Talk Podcast. What am I saying? Raj, thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You don't really have a choice as well. It's kind of like.
You work here.
Yeah, you
I'm
work here.
contractually obliged to be
Yes.
on this show.
You are. You are. It's been great. Guys, I hope you have a great week ahead. Remember, dream big, but get real with yourself.
Okay.
That's right.
And don't spit into people's eyes unless
They're asking for free money.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a great week. Be blessed. We love you guys. Peace out.